Right, it is 9 o'clock. We are going live. So welcome to Intuitive You on Oneness Talk Radio, how to heal and create the life you desire. So happy to be here and just really feeling my own journey of how much courage sometimes it takes to live your dreams and really step in fully to your intuition. So today I have a very special guest with me. So man, it's been at least 10 years since we did our master woman heart circle. And I just remember probably this amazing woman I'm going to introduce you to this morning, I think 3 or 4 other women. And we've all just really grown so much in these past 10 years. And to reconnect with her, I don't even know what made me inspired to reach out to her, probably because she's amazing and my intuition guided me too. And she's an author. She basically teaches organization from the inside out. So how to create space in your life in general. And she comes from such an amazing heart space, and she's so well respected, and she just has so much integrity and love. So I am just so grateful to introduce Ms. Kathi Burns. She is from San Diego. And Kathi, if you just want to take it from here and just let everybody know, your journey, how you got here, and what you have been doing and are currently doing now. So welcome.
Okay, well, thanks, Abby. It's so good to reconnect. It feels like it's been decades and it's only been 1 decade, which is still a lot with COVID right now.
Totally.
Anyhow, my life has been a series of entrepreneurial expeditions, and I basically consider myself a serial entrepreneur. And how I became a professional organizer, it's a long road, obviously, but one of the key points was I used to deliver boats, and I was a Coast Guard captain, and I delivered boats around and sailed for a living because I wanted to get paid to sail for a living. So I took that journey. And what I found was whenever I was underway, I would realize looking back at the stuff that I left in my apartment on shore, that none of it really mattered. None of it was really significant to me. And when you pack a duffel bag, you take the bare essentials when you jump on a boat and head out. And once you get on board, you have to have it all organized, and you have to know where everything is and be very streamlined. And I remember one night I was on watch out to sea, and there was nothing but ocean around me. And I was looking back at my life and at my possessions and realizing that nothing was really significant. The memories were significant, but there was maybe only 1 or 2 things that really mattered to me in the big scheme of things, right? So when I would get back to shore, I would just purge. It was like a real clarity of thought, because I knew right then that I could purge very easily. So I would purge, and then whenever I went to pack again, it made it even easier. So what I found through that experience was letting go of possessions really gave you more freedom. And when I decided to stop delivering boats and kind of settle down and hit the terra firma, I started thinking about what do I really like and what's really important to me. And what's important to me, obviously, as a serial entrepreneur, is change. And I love change. A lot of people hate change and they're in fear about change, right? And we can talk about that, right? Because I know you're at transitional, right? So how do you embrace change? And how you do it really, Abby, is by letting go. And it really helps to let go of your stuff. Like a lot of people, that's the easy place to start. That's the litmus. Just start letting go of the stuff around you that doesn't really mean a lot. And that will give you a greater opening in your heart and your mind to have clarity about what's the next step for you to move forward. Because I know we're going to talk about that, how, mental clarity, physical space gives you mental clarity. Mental clarity allows you to be intuitive. And this is a master intuitive yourself, that the less encumbrances you have around you, the easier it is to tap in to source, so to speak.
That is so bizarre. So I cannot help but notice the synchronicity of the universe, because I'm kind of battling within myself about this stuff thing, right? I have this 3-bedroom, 3-bath house in Oregon, and I'm attached to my stuff like nobody's business. That means so much. I can't let that go. I'm glued to my couch, my best friend gave that to me. I can't let it go. Totally flipped out and noticing clutter and the chaos it's creating inside of me. And the move forward for me is about letting go. It's hey, you go into the next level. It truly is about letting go. And when I, step into that, what I see is space. I see pure light, and I see me merging, just one with source. And I'm whoa, this is the lesson. It's to let go, but it's scary. So I'm wondering, anybody watching the show, where are you holding on to things that maybe you no longer need or you need to let go of? And what would happen if you did? And when you do, what happens? I noticed for me, I feel light. I had another client say, she got rid of something and she's like, well, I feel this like weight off me. So, what's that process or almost like the safety in letting go? Like, is there any advice you have around that? Like, how to feel comfortable letting go, or maybe it's uncomfortable and you just do it anyways.
Well, what's really interesting, my first company when we met way back when was Add Space to Your Life. And I was all about adding space and letting go. And now my company, I've resurrected, or not resurrected, I've just reinvented it to Organized and Energized, because it's kind of about the energetics of your stuff. So obviously you need to add space to your life. And when you say you get rid of the gorgeous couch that you love because you know that it's not going to fit into the new space that you move into, right? So when you let it go, you just say, thank you, thank you for your service. Thank you for your beauty. I'm moving forward into a life that won't quite hold you, but yet I honor you. So sometimes it helps to have a ritual around the letting go of something. And then you'll feel this vacuum and you'll feel kind of an opening of your psyche where you're now allowed to bring new in. See, because if you move, let's just say you move from a 3-bedroom to a 1-bedroom, which happens a lot with my clients, and they don't let go of enough stuff. Then when they get into their new space, they're bottlenecked. They're completely bottlenecked and they can't even see their way forward because it's just wall to wall. They didn't make the right decisions before they moved. And I love people to hire me before they move because I can help them really kind of get clarity on what's going to serve them now. So something to think about, Abby, is when you look at something that you think is not going to fit, there's 3 questions. Do I love it? Do I need it? Will I use it? Well, you might love it and you might think you need it, but it's not going to fit in the new living room. So you're not going to be able to use it. And if you have a lot of things in your life that you can't use, you're stymied. Your creativity is stymied. Your energy is depleted because you're spending so much time trying to fit things into your life that don't fit any longer. So that's one thing. Another thing is you have to think about your new life. What's your new life going to look like? Is it going to be full wall to wall of stuff? Is it going to be open so that you can, breathe and actually reinvent and invent more stuff in your life? So you have to have, this intuitively. You have to have the flow. You have to have the energetic. Uh-oh.
Can you repeat the last 2 sentences? Your volume went out.
Oh, okay. I said you have to have the openness and the spaciousness for things to flow into you. And so if you move and you brought too much stuff with you, then you're going to end up being stymied and kind of bottlenecked, and your energy is not going to be able to flow around you. I find this all the time when I go into clients that feel stuck. It's generally they have wall-to-wall stuff in their space, and so they're stuck just energetically. It's amazing what physical stuff will do to you mentally. Your physical space absolutely has a lot to do with your mental space and your mental clarity.
Totally. Oh yeah, my stuff in boxes is making me feel crazy. Yeah. So how do you find that space in your life internally first so you can feel comfortable letting go? And how do you use your intuition to help navigate through that?
Well, for starters, Abby, letting go is a muscle. So most of our muscles are atrophied. We're not used to we're not letter goers. So if you start small and just start with something that's insignificant and start letting it go and letting it go and letting go, you're going to get more and more powerful and able to let go of the hard stuff. So again, bolster your letting go muscle with exercise and practice on the small stuff in your life, the stuff that really doesn't have much emotional charge. Don't start with trying to downsize your wardrobe. If you're a stylist like me, don't do that, because that's going to be where you're going to be triggered, right? So start with the stuff that doesn't really matter, your junk drawer, your sock drawer, whatever, right? And then you'll be better able to move forward. And again, you have to ask yourself, oh, it really helps, especially in a move. Paint the picture of your life in the new space. Paint the picture of your life in the new city, in the new town. What's it going to be like? What am I going to do? What's going to be important to me? Am I going to be sequestered in a giant 3-bedroom house, or am I going to be more out and about in a small place where I can just commune with people, and that's the important part of my life. So you have to really kind of paint the picture of what your life will be like, and that will really help you intuitively know what's going to fit and what's not going to fit in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bizarre. So when I went down to visit this place in Encinitas, I think, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I was like so happy. I didn't even think of my house here. Like it was just, I was so spacious. I don't even think I had anything but my suitcase. And I was like, whoa, the spaciousness feels so amazing. And then I get back into my stuff and I'm like trapped in it. I'm like, wait, I need it. Like, it's very interesting. So I wonder how that corresponds with our internal experience. If you have anything to share with that also as it relates to intuition.
Well, it definitely does. I might need it, or I need it. Do you really need it? I mean, psychologically, we think we need all of this stuff. But, I've worked with a few clients, and I have a few friends whose house have burned down. And they realize in the big scheme of things, they lost everything. One of my girlfriends lost everything when her house burned down, and it was the house of their dreams that they had built. What happened was it opened up a big heart space, because all of the people around her, they clothed her, they gave her food, they gave her furniture. I mean, she said, I was wearing other people's clothes. I didn't have any clothes. I saw all of this amazing stuff happen to me because of what people gave to me.
Yeah.
Now, if your life is completely full and saturated, there's no room for good to enter. There's no reason that anyone would give her amazing clothes, because she had it all, right? So there's always the yin yang. There's always the full empty. And what I found, living out of a duffel bag, is that there isn't really a lot that you need in life. We just think we need it.
Right.
But when everything dissolves around you, you realize that it really isn't all that important, and you get a lot of clarity. So, the easiest thing again is imagine what you're going to do in your new life, how you're going to live, what's going to be your priority. Obviously, you're moving. Think about the reason that you're moving. Okay, why are you moving from Oregon to Encinitas? Why are you moving back?
I'll tell you, I love questions because I absolutely love the ocean. I love the space. I love it there. It just makes my soul sing. It just makes me so happy. That's why.
And you said you love the space.
I do love the space. It's so small though, and I love the people around me. I love it. I love people. I love my neighbors. I love the space. Yeah.
So that's really the important part of your life that you're going towards.
It's happiness.
It's not your stuff that you're bringing with you. It's the new. It's the ocean is so open and spacious. I mean, that's where I got my big aha moment. You don't need anything.
That's where really. I literally downloaded the whole school that I teach around the world now in Encinitas, Cardiff, like that same area.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. So, is your old stuff going to fit your new life? The easiest way to make a shift is to start anew. And, start with new stuff. Start with, a smaller couch that maybe fits the scale. Realizing this is the thing too that helps me let go. I realize that I'm moving my good forward. So I have a donation bin in my house. I have 2 all the time in my house, all the time. I have one in my hall closet, one in my master closet. When I find things that I no longer need, use, or want, I just throw it in the bin, and it makes it very easy to start the letting. I'm letting go all the time, because I know that what I'm giving out, when I take it to donation, I bless it. And I know that the perfect people are going to get what it is that I'm donating. They're going to need what I've released. And so it's kind of it's a circular thing, right? You give, you take, you give, you take, you give, more comes back to you. Worst to worst, you get rid of something and you need it, whatever, 9 months later, oh my gosh, I should have never given that away. You just go get another one. Or amazingly, oftentimes it'll show right back up in your life. You know, you'll say, hey, can I borrow this from the neighbor? Like I gave away my iron and I'm like, oh, I need it for this one thing. Ask my neighbor, could I borrow her iron? She goes, just keep it. I never use it. But guess what? I gave it back because I only needed it once in 5 years. I mean, since I gave away my iron, I needed it once. So I gave it back to her and she was laughing. She goes, I don't really care. And I'm moving. I'm like, well, you can donate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Move it on. Keep it circulating. Keep it circulating. That's amazing.
That's right.
So how do you allow your intuition to guide you in your work that you're doing with people? Because I know you come from that just centered knowing place.
Yeah. What I found, I sang in a kirtan band for 12 years, and doing mantras for me helps significantly. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with kirtan or, mantras, but when I would sing, 2 hours a week, I would always have the sacred mantras going in the back of my mind as I was talking to clients. Seriously, I would be hearing the music in the back and I'm talking to my clients. I don't know how it really worked that way, but it works. So if you saturate yourself in a practice of meditation or a practice of mantras or a practice of, just prayer, whatever it is that floats your boat, you will find that it will come in through your life, even as you're speaking in real world. It's really strange to me, but it works. It allows you to have that open space in the background of your mind while you're working in the real world, so to speak. So for me, mantras and singing kirtan really, really opened up my heart to have my intuition tell me what I should be saying to my clients. And they don't know that this is going on in the back of my mind. They think I'm just a regular professional organizer who's talking about stuff. But what they don't realize is that I've let my soul be open to sacred sounds and sacred seed songs, that allow me to kind of be guided more better intuitively than if I had no practice. So I think everybody needs a practice, and it really doesn't matter what you call it. It could be called prayer. It could be called chanting. It could be called kirtan. It could be called mantras. It could be just using your mala. Whatever it is I think or maybe walking. I have a girlfriend, that's her sacred thing. She walks every morning. Yeah. And she doesn't even try not to think, she just walks. And whatever it is, I think we all need some type of practice that will get us more present and more in the moment, because when we're in the moment, we are in our power. That's our power place right there. So again, not thinking about what's going to happen, not thinking about what did happen, it's the be here now thing, right? And boy, I saw Ram Dass speak a long time ago before he transitioned, and it's powerful. Just being in the moment that's what we have now anyhow. That's what we have. We have the moment, and the moment goes, and then it's another moment. Moment goes, another moment. So if you can just try to somehow position yourself in that current present flow and be present, they say it's a present, right? Being present, the old adage that if you can just be still and be in that present moment, you will see that things will open up. You'll have a bigger clarity of thought and know kind of where you should be going. If you're like, I don't know, doubt, fear. If you just settle in and try not to think about anything, oftentimes that little voice will tell you where you should think, where you should go, where you should move.
Do you have a practice other than like this in the moment? Like I just dropped in with you. So to me, I felt a stillness in me. I dropped in from my head to my heart to my gut, kind of like the tree we're talking about, like a tree, like a rock sitting under a tree, and just that stillness, right? And then from that stillness to hear your inner voice and then trust it. But even now, sometimes I get conflict. So I'm not sure. Like, I'm an intuitive teacher and I still work with this. Like, it's pretty powerful.
Well, everybody does, it's like, do we trust? Was that really me? Was that something else? Was that a fear coming through? Who was it that was talking to me?
Right. What was that voice?
What was that voice?
Right.
And should I trust it?
Right. Right.
So I think, viscerally, if you become still enough, now that I don't sing, I really miss singing in the band because it really grounded me so much. But guess what? I still listen to kirtan all the time while I'm working, and I still sing in the background while I'm working because that is my groundedness. Everybody has their own thing. There's some people that the mantras are not going to help them, kirtan's not going to help them, but walking is going to help them. Just sitting, like I said, what we did last week is sitting on a rock with the tree growing out of it for 8 hours. That definitely opens up for clarity. So whatever you can possibly do to become still. And a lot of people have a hard time just sitting. So walk, skip. Hey, why don't you try to skip for 2 minutes? Skip for 2 minutes, and I guarantee you won't be thinking about anything but, I gotta skip, gotta keep skipping.
So cute. My mom used to tell me that, and I'd be like, whatever, Mom.
Did she really?
When I was a kid, if I was like sad about something, she'd be like, I think she would say like, skip for 2 minutes or just go skip. And I was like, whatever, Mom.
That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. She's like, be positive. Mm-hmm. Totally.
She knows. See, it's however you're going to tap in, because guess what? Source is inside you and you are source. So you just have to be able to hear it and listen. And the only way you can do that is to shut off your brain. And, and this is the thing too, that as women, we see everything in our environment. So let's go back to the environment stuff, since I am a professional organizer. So, everything in this room around me calls to me. And the question is there stuff sitting over there that's not done? Is there some half completed project? Because guess what? We're going to know that, and that's going to be in the back of our mind. So the way that you get the most clarity is to have especially in your workspace. And I talk about this a lot in this book, which I'm going to give away, by the way, later for free. If you have no unfinished projects in your environment and no little visual thing of, well, I've got to do that, you're now allowed to be fully present and do what you're trying to do. So whether it's writing a paper, whether it's making a call, whether it's being on a Zoom like this, whatever it is, if you don't have unfinished stuff around you, you're able to have better clarity. So that's a great thing, is don't have anything that's half finished. Try to get closure on your projects. And if you can't get closure on your projects, put the ones that are unfinished away, like out of your sight, in a closet. You can have a reminder on your laptop or a reminder somewhere that you have to do them, but they're not going to be screaming at you while you're trying to focus on something else. I see this a lot to whenever I work in a corporate environment with employees. If they have, oftentimes I'll be called in to help someone who just has papers all over their booth, right? Or all over their office. And what it is they can't function because every single one of those stacks is screaming at them to do something. So what I start to do is have them folder them, put them vertical in their space. And then if they start a project, they open it up, they check out their project. Say the phone rings and they have to jump into something else. I advise them to shut the folder, put it back up. And then, when they answer the phone, hold on one quick moment, let me regroup, or whatever they want to say. Put the folder away, put it up, then sit down. Hi, can I help you? And they've started a new chapter, so to speak, within their day. So it allows them to have clarity. So then that client wants something, they can pull out the client folder, open it up, work on it. They hang up the phone, and then they make a decision. Do I start working on that? Do I put it away, put it back, and bring back my other project? The whole idea is to have pauses in between projects so that you can get grounded again, come back to the task at hand, so to speak, and figure out, what am I going to do next?
Mhm.
And having 15 projects on your desk does not work. It doesn't work because
Mhm.
you only do half of them. You only do like bits and pieces here and there. Nothing ever has closure or a conclusion.
Right. Yeah,
Does that
closure
help?
is important. Yeah. I mean, I'm just noticing like there's a buildup. So like I've started this, move thing, and now that it's not complete, there's a buildup where it just creates so much anxiety. And I've been afraid of closure, but I'm realizing like closure actually is like completion. Like it's a good thing, you know? It opens up the new chapter.
Yeah, and you're right now you have bottlenecks because some things are packed, some things are not. And I would say, is the stuff you packed relevant? Is it going to be needed in your next life? Have you been really true with yourself about what you should move? Not what you can move and what you should move. Is it going to fit into your life, your new life? Because guess what? When we move, it's kind of a new life.
Yeah.
It's a new environment, it's new friends, it's new habits, it's new things that you're going to do. It's all new. Even though, you've been there before, it's still going to be a new chapter. So what do you want to move forward into the next chapter as you transition? I'll tell you one thing I know for a fact. The more you can let go of, the easier the
Easier.
easier it will be to move into your next chapter. The less encumbrances you have, the easier life always is. You don't want to be possessed by your possessions. Before I became a professional organizer, we moved from a 3-bedroom giant house in Florida to California to like a little 2-bedroom place in Cardiff. I hauled so much stuff with me. I cannot believe how much stuff I brought with me. And it was not good. It was not pretty. I was not a pro organizer at that time. I hadn't even, figured it out. I had a big giant house and I was just moving across the country. It was what a waste of time and energy to pack, unpack, move it, be drudged around with it. I didn't even have room to unpack my stuff when I got to Cardiff because I went a smaller space. And then I was just like, it took me a year to figure out, what I was going to do when I grow up, so to speak. And that's actually when I transitioned to become a professional organizer. And at that point, I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Because this doesn't even fit my life anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary, I think, but it's true. It makes you lighter. It creates space.
Add space to your life. And then you're organized and energized. And see, that's why I changed my company to Organize and Energize, because I've been 17 years as a pro, right? And after a certain amount of time, you're ready. Well, I'm being in change. I love change. So I'm like, okay, I've been adding space in people's lives for 17 years. Now I'm going to talk about the energetics of your stuff, because that's really, when I started my company, it was a little bit too early to be woo-woo, right? To start talking about the energetics. Now everybody's into energetics and what they're knowing, that this stuff is important and the message is loud and clear right now. So now it's really more about the energetics. And I just get such joy putting the two together, marrying the organization and the energy and letting people know how so important things can zap your energy. When for instance, I'm working with the client and we're going through photos, right? That's a big thing. We all have issues around our photos. So she comes upon her wedding album from a guy that she had divorced in a nasty divorce 15 years before. And she was holding on to this album. And I'm like, well, how does this feel when you pick this up? She goes, oh, I hate that. I think about the mother. I think about all the crap that happened during the wedding that was just not good. I'm like, let it go. She had been carrying around the baggage, literally carrying around the baggage from a disastrous marriage for 15 years. So yeah, she let it go. And I think now she's able to move forward. Now, guess what? She has room for a new person to come into her life. If she's carrying around the old carnage of a disastrous event, is there any room for someone new to come in? Not really. Not really. And if they do come in, it could be kind of a toxic thing because she could just get triggered right again because she had not released the toxicity of that last marriage because she was holding on to the stuff. She even had her old boutonniere thing from her husband, you know, that was saved and preserved. I'm like, let it go.
No,
So you
I mean,
have to eat.
yeah.
No, go on.
Well, it's pretty funny because I'm being guided to share, like, part of this whole thing is, yeah, releasing people I've been really close with. And it's hard because that is the attachment. But that's part of the process in creating that space, you know,
Yeah.
for the relationship that I want, you know? So.
Yeah, I had another client who she was a really, really talented graphic designer, and she was so pro, and she was working from home, and she called me in because she really wanted to create a new life, and she really wanted a life mate, and she had this gorgeous condo. And when we started working together, you know, we obviously started with her studio and get that all organized and optimized. But when we jumped into her bedroom, I noticed a few really interesting things. She had this ginormous closet. I've never seen this such big of a closet, a wall to wall, floor to ceiling closet. Open up the doors, completely full. There was no room for nothing in that closet. And then I turned around and looked at her bedside tables. Both bedside tables were overloaded with all this stuff. And, you know, it was just packed out. I'm like, how is there going to be any room for a guy? There's no room for a man. If you wanted a man, there is no room in your life for a man right now because you're floor to floor, wall to ceiling, full of stuff. So what we did was we downsized her wardrobe, you know, and as a stylist, that I'm a double-edged sword because it's not like you shouldn't wear this because you haven't worn it for a year. It's like, oh, you should never wear that wrong color, or you should always wear this. This is perfect. So we weeded out her clothes. We opened up this like a 2-foot space, just left it open, the hanging rod open. We completely cleared out one bedside table and just kept like a candle and a light up there, and that was it. And empty drawer, empty bookshelf, that kind of thing. And guess what? And you'll like this. I think it was like 6 months later, she found the guy, and 9 months later, they moved to Colorado. So she not only, it was like a double whammy. So she got the guy and she got a whole new life. And because she had already downsized, it was completely easy for her to move to Colorado because, you know, from San Diego, she'd already downsized her life and she'd already streamlined and simplified. So her business took off. And after getting systems put in place for her business, she was very able to work virtually and keep her client base. In fact, she ended up with more clients and was able to move with the guy. So I haven't heard from her since. She has moved to Colorado. She's happy camper.
That's awesome. And who would have known downsizing actually creates more space? Because I thought in my mind, like, what are you doing? You know, but it's like it creates space.
And things are replaceable. You know, things are always replaceable. So worst to worst, you find some, you know, you're like, oh, I should never have gotten rid of that. Just go get another one. I mean, come on. Supply is limitless in this world. There's so much unlimited supply available to us. If we want it, it'll generally just show up. You know, if we really want it, it generally shows up in our life anyhow. So letting go is really not that tragic. Although, like I say, you know, if your letting go muscle is atrophied, you know, it's hard. But you can build it up by just going small and just starting with the small stuff. You know, books for me are a really hard thing. I love my books. Being an author, writer, I just love my books. And I finally just got rid of 2 whole shelves of organizing books just like 2 weeks ago. And it felt really good. And guess what? I didn't look at them anyhow. If I needed to find a reference or talk to one of my friends that was an author, I just call them up and ask them what they thought. I mean, there's no reason that I needed to have their book on my shelf, even though some of them were autographed to me. I figured, oh, you know, when someone finds this at Goodwill or my favorite community resource center, they're going to be psyched because they have like an autographed book of this person. So awesome. You have to think about the good that people are going to get when they find what it is you're giving. Yeah. I tell parents all the time, you know, if your children are holder honors, there's always a letter goer and a holder honor typically in a family. If your children are holder honors, take them to Goodwill or Salvation Army or a thrift store, show them what's being sold, point out the people that are now making money by working in that area, show them how that money is being used, how their stuff is turning into money, and then have them watch someone buy something with the smile on their face at the cash register. Then they get it, and then they click 2 and 2 together. Oh, that's what's going to happen to that book that I'm going to give away or whatever. So once kids know where their stuff's going, it makes it easier for them to let go as well. And the same thing with yourself. You know, a lot of my clients have never been in a thrift store. I'm like, go to a thrift store and just walk around and watch and see who's getting paid to work there. See, you know, you'll see people who might not have ever been able to get a job anyplace else, you know, because of disabilities or whatever. You'll see people buying stuff that they could have never afforded because it's on the cheap, and they're getting stuff that they could have never afforded at a regular store. So see how all the good is just churning around into other places.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating because I was guided to gift my parents furniture because they have a furnished apartment business. And so it's funny because they're like, well, we just want you to happy. Like, we're trying to take it off your hands, but like us wanting to help each other is that full circle 8. But I notice, even though that's my heart and spirit, my fear holds on. You know, I'm like, Mom, I don't know if I could do it, you know? So it's fascinating how it's there. The expansion is there, that flow is there, and then that attachment, you know? So I'm just thinking how, you know, for the listeners to relate to anything that is maybe attaching you and holding you back from what you want. I know for me, like, it could potentially hold me back if I keep all my stuff to actually not even go to Encinitas. And that's actually where I'm at right now, as I'm like, it's this push pull of, do I want to let go? And so for you, you know, do you want to let go? Do you need to let go of something to get what you want? And I don't necessarily think that it has to be that you have to let go of something. I can just say from my own experience, but where I would use in the intuitive success coaching work is there a fear? Is there a doubt or something that is inhibiting you? That if you let go just of that emotional energy, you breathe space into it, right? You breathe space into your life, and you can actually feel your intuition, you know? So, you know, it's like, see, you know, check in with your body. Where am I holding any negative emotion, any fear? And can I just let that go? And then see the space that you feel.
And I think that's true. You know, when you let go, you don't lose anything. In fact, when you let go, you get something. You get
when you let go, you what, Kathy?
When you let go, you get more back. Like, when you let go of a thought, you have space for a new thought, and you can choose what that new thought is. So you can't really choose new thoughts if your mind is doing this whole chatter and there's no space for new thoughts. So I think when you let go, you never lose anything. That's my point. You always gain more by letting go. That's my extreme philosophy. You always get more than what you let go of, always. And you will get more and more and more if you're open and receptive and thinking about it. So when I work with clients, you know, virtually now as a consultant, I have them think about, you know, why are we here? What are they hoping to accomplish? To see in their mind how they want their life to be before we even begin. That allows them to have more clarity on what they need to do to get there. It allows me to also have that in their mind. When they tell me how they want to be and what they want to do and how their life wants to work, I just hold that for them. I hold that space. For me, it's very easy to hold the space because I'm not in their life. It's like, okay, she wants the guy, she wants to have a better business, she wants more clients. This is all so possible. I see her having that as we work together and start letting go and releasing the stuff that doesn't fit into that story or doesn't fit into that picture. And I think that's something that, you know, as coaches, you know, I'm on the physical, you know, level of stuff. You're on the mental, intuitive level of stuff. But we see our clients how they want to be, and we hold that space for them, and it allows them to step into it much more easily, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, holding somebody to their best and ourselves to our best. What does that look like? You know, if you all take a image of, you know, you and your fullest, highest potential, what does that look like? You know, where are you? Who's around you? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? Like, Are your kids there, your friends there? What are the colors? And notice how you feel in your body. Let yourself
And see, we can hold that. We can hold that for them so much easier than they can hold that for them.
Oh, totally.
Because we don't have all the stuff. We don't have all their encumbrances in their mind. We just see them as whole and perfect and gorgeous and living the life that they want. We can see the dream so easily. We can see the dream. And I really feel as light bringers that's really our job, is to kind of shine the light for them towards where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say I'm sneaky like that. I work on the surface of your stuff. But really it's much deeper than just your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we won't even go there because we're not going to go woo woo or anything. But I will hold for you your vision, and you will get there if you release enough of the stuff that's holding you back from getting there.
That's so true. It's so funny. A friend gave me this book years ago, and the one that was sitting on my shelf was Live Your Dreams, but you must let go, basically, of the stuff, I'll just say, that holds you back. And I was like, oh, isn't that funny that that's the one like book on the bookshelf left? It was pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. My parents came telling me it was pretty funny. I was like, look at this, guys. They're like, yeah. I'm like, whatever. You're right again.
Well, you know what I was thinking too. I mean, if your parents are in the furniture business, there's no fear about letting go of anything. You can just get anything you want right back again.
That's what she said.
Probably better.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, whatever you want, you can have it anytime you want. In the meantime, you might as well use it instead of put it in storage, So anyways.
Oh yeah. Storage is no.
Yeah, no go.
No go.
So I know that you have this amazing new book out that you actually been offered to give a free copy. So can you tell us a little bit about it and how that kind of comes full circle with our conversation?
Oh yeah. So this book, How to Master Your Muck, is my baby. And it's Get Organized, Add Space to Your Life, Live Your Purpose. And the reason that I put Live Your Purpose last is that I know that if you have space and you're organized, you can be on point. You can be on purpose. So what I've done with this book is it's really kind of designed for entrepreneurs and people who have home offices, even if they're not an entrepreneur, but they have a home office. It talks about all the systems that you need to have put in place so that you can focus on your job or your task at hand. So I've written it. I really like it because no one reads the whole book. Let's face it. I know for a fact no one's going to read this whole entire book. But at the beginning of each chapter,
can you repeat the last two sentences? Sorry, it just went out.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what's happening here.
It's not you. Okay. I think it's something. It just says the internet connection is unstable, I think, on my end. So it's not you.
Okay. So that's Oregon for you. No. Sorry.
It's whatever.
You granolas.
Anyhow, no judgment. But the last two sentences would be great.
I love Oregon.
Foundation of the intuitive success coaching process, girl. No judgment.
I love Oregon. No, I love Oregon. Oh my God, the trees are just insane. Okay, so I designed this book. Back to this. So no one's going to read a whole entire book. I know this to be true. I mean, I read whole entire books, but it's very rare that anybody else will. So I designed it so that at the beginning of each chapter, there's 3 thought-provoking questions. And if you answer all 3 questions, you're like, yes, that's probably a chapter you read. So I always say you skim through the top of each chapter, see what questions you resonate with. Is it goal setting that's an issue? Is it your contact database that's an issue? Is it your paper piles that are an issue? Is it your time management that's an issue? So once you read those questions, then you'll know what chapter to jump into. And within each chapter, I tell stories about clients that have gone through similar things. I give actual practical action steps they can take to relieve themselves of that burden of whatever that, quagmire is in their life. So it's a very practical, applicable book. So if you want to learn how to get rid of your paper piles, which is the number one thing that most people have, there's actually actual practical steps that you can take. So it's based on my 17 years as a professional organizer and all the tactics that I use one-on-one with clients, just kind of put into a book. So what I've done is I bought the book for everybody and it's free. All you have to do is pay for me to ship it to you and you've got the book for free, and I'll autograph it too, which I'm really having a lot of fun autographing to my people who are taking me up on the offer. It's fun.
That's so fun. So how do they get the book, Kathi?
All they have to do is go to organizedandenergized.com, and you will see up at the top, get my free book. And it's for a limited time. It's until I'm done until I get rid of the books that I have printed. So it's a limited time offer. Just go to organizedandenergized.com. And if you want to skip everything, you go /MYM, which is Master Your Muck.
That's awesome.
And there'll be a link below somewhere, right?
I don't have a link below, but I think you said it twice, so I think they're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 9:45. We're going to hop on the call board and see, see if we have any callers. Usually we have a lot. We're just still working out it. Hopefully it's all good with the technology. So we'll see. Okay, so people are welcome to call in at 517-208-1500. Again, that's 517-208-1500, and we will look for you. And until then, we're going to hop back over to Kathi and see if we can do this at the same time. Kathi, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you very faintly, but not completely. No. I know. So we'll get it blasted as loud as possible, but we're still working out the speaker thing. Yeah, so I guess if you want to just keep on the conversation, and then we'll just have the people call in, and I'll let you know once people do. We did this one other time. We had an overwhelming response. It's just right now, I think, because things are so backed up. It hasn't always been. So if you want to take it from here, Kathi, about anything else about organizing and relating to intuition, go for it.
Well, your space affects your clarity affects your intuition and listening to it or not listening to it has a direct impact on the course of your life. So if you're really wondering, oh, look, here's my cat.
Hi, kitty.
He has to always jump in the middle of interviews, don't you know? Anyhow, so if you have space, you have clarity, and we all need clarity. If you don't have clarity, if you don't have that open space in your life, you can't listen to what you need to hear. And what we need to hear is generally all within us. We just shut it off. We just start going into the busyness. That's one reason that I made this book, is because I saw that a lot of people, and I did it too, I got stuck in the busyness of my business. I was all like doing the nuts and bolts and all the small little niggly stuff. And it wasn't even what I loved. It wasn't the reason why I started my business. It was like, database, emails, social, all the stuff that you get caught in the busy stuff of life, right? And unable to get down to business, which is helping people clear and get clarity and move forward into their biggest, boldest selves.
So I'm wondering, how do you get connected to your intuition so you can hear that, right? Like that, I think, is the biggest piece. And then you said follow it. So when you follow your intuition, you have a very different outcome than if you don't. And how can you know that it's your intuition speaking to you? And like we said earlier, have the courage to follow it. Have the courage to follow it.
I think that if you get quiet, getting quiet is the hardest thing that people do. That people, it's the hardest thing, is to quiet your mind and just allow nothing to be there. And if you can somehow get to that point, viscerally, whether it's you talking to you or you talking to you, whether it's your heart or whether it's your brain. And I've been studying a lot about the gut. Everybody says the gut instinct, and really your gut has a bigger brain than your mind. And gut is where, gut and heart, this area here is where really the intuition comes from. It's not from your monkey brain. So somehow being able to quiet your mind. And I've been doing Wim Hof. Have you heard of Wim Hof?
I know, but I just got to tell you, you 100% just nailed my teaching. Like, that's it. It's the heart and the gut, because your mind can go. And I just want to share this experience. think it was, I don't know, like a week ago, all this amazing things is happening with nature. Like I literally am like commanding things with my hand. Like I was talking with a client, there was 20 geese that were walking, they stopped. They all looked, paused, and then they kept going south. And I said, yep, I know, I got to keep going. They all walked to the pond. So it's like everything is going. And then the other time, just to relate to exactly what you said, is I walked out under the trees and my mind, there was no thought in my mind. And I rarely have that, but no thought, just my heart. And I was like, whoa, this is so peaceful. You know, I was like, I can actually feel and experience just the tree. And it's happening right now. Like I experience you, the listeners, and the tree. Like I'm in this moment, fully experiencing it in my body versus our head. I know my head. I can't speak for everybody else. I just know I have a very active mind and it just goes. Yeah. It's like a bicycle wheel just going. So when you said that, because it can be confusing, and I prayed for this, like, and it's embarrassing even saying this because I teach this. I'm like, what on the earth? But it's so like, I am my own student. I'm always learning, right? But the basic that I've always brought myself to is exactly what you just said. So anybody in doubt, questioning, whatever, exactly what Kathi just said. Your heart. Then I say, you imagine a tunnel of love going down from your heart straight to your gut. And you'll feel your gut say yes, or you will feel your gut say no. It's very clear. There's only one answer. It's either yes or it's no. And there is 500 million cells in your gut. That's the receptors of energy in your body. Your brain can never keep up to it. It's just biologically, I want to say it's like 20% compared to 80%, which is your body, right? So Encinitas is a full body experience of joy and bliss. It's just fascinating that it's requiring, I pretty much let go of everything to get there. I mean, I just got a new car. That's cool. That's the funny part. Like as soon as I was like, I'm letting go, my parents can come, a new BMW showed up, great price, like amazing, like unheard of. And I was like, okay, something's going on here. Like you let go of one thing, something else comes. And like, yeah, my dad found it for me, drove it in. I was like, that's it, done. But it was like, it's a miracle. It's just like, whoa. So what is it you're willing to let go of to have something more? And I'm scared to say it because I'm living it too, you guys, but what is it you're willing to let go of so you can create the space for something more? And quite frankly, I just want to run away right now because it's scary. But like all in it together, and you know, like Tree and Kira, they own Oneness Talk Radio, and they're like, we're holding you. No matter what you do, we're holding you, and we're all holding each other. You know, just imagine our hearts and our hands just linking up, and we're all the same. We're not alone. You know, and it's like, you know, I tell Donovan, I'm like, just to be here makes me happy. You know, like I love Encinitas. I say, I'm already talking about it. So you know where you're going. Your spirit is already there. So let yourself soar, give yourself wings to fly, you know, because you're here right now by divine design. Like, how could we orchestrate a better time? Like, you know, me in this like, okay, like struggle of what do I do? And you're like, oh, by the way, knock, knock, add space to your life. Hi, Kathi, thanks. Haven't talked for a few years. You know, it's like yesterday. And that's the connection point, right? And anybody could call right now. In fact, I'm going to go check the call board real quick. And I apologize, you guys. By the way, you can email Abby at lifeworthconnection.com. Or Kathi, do you want to share your email if you guys have any questions after the show? Yeah, go ahead and do that, Kathi.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to Kathi, Kathi, at organizedandenergized.com. So you see it's past tense because I'm seeing you already organized and I'm seeing you already energized. So Kathi at organizedandenergized.com. And you know, Abby, I thought you had already moved. So you've been talking about being in Encinitas in present tense for a while now.
2 months. So, I've been paying on 2 places for 2 months. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, you're already there.
I know. So really quickly, and it's blessed a lot of people. So I'm glad it worked out that way. But what I want to say is, you have anything else you want to share? You have the website link, any other links that people can reach you? You got the email, anything else that you want to share to connect with you?
Well, yeah, I would love to hear from each and every one of you. I am so excited because I'm starting an Organize and Energizers Insiders Club where I'm going to be doing Zoom calls every month for the group, and I'm going to have hot seats every month. So I'm so excited to find out what's going to happen with this Insiders Club, and I'm going to launch it in like 2 weeks. So stay tuned. If you pick a copy of my book, oh, I forgot to tell you this. If you get a copy of my book, I give you a 30-minute consult where I give you 3 action tips that you can take away right away. I forgot the most important thing. So if you get the book for free, you pay like shipping and handling, it's like $6. Then you also get a 30-minute session with me where I can help you get clarity, and I will absolutely give you 3 steps you can take right away to move towards whatever it is that you're trying to move towards, or 3 tips to get unstuck of whatever you're trying to get unstuck about. So I'm such an action taker that I'm all about action steps and giving you solid things that you can do right now to move forward in your life. Because that's the kicker. I mean, when we move forward, everybody benefits. When we're stuck, it causes a bottleneck all the way down the line from everyone who's around you. So the best thing you can do in the world is to move your life forward. I always say with ease and with grace. And sometimes that's hard, but again, back to the intuition thing. If you know in your gut what you should be doing, release whatever it is that's bottlenecking you to go in that direction and move forward boldly, because things are irreplaceable. There's nothing in life that's permanent anyhow. The one thing that's permanent in life is change. So the more able that you are to move through changes throughout life, the happier you're going to be. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You will not be sad and fearful and stressed because you're just going to be moving. And guess what? You move forward one way and it's not the perfect way. You can change paths. You can tack. You can go into a different direction. That's what life's all about anyhow. We're never going to have it finished. It's always an ongoing process. So just keep letting go of stuff and keep moving forward and shift and tack if you have to. It doesn't matter. It's just enjoy the journey, right? Enjoy the journey. And the best way to enjoy the journey is to have less stuff and with systems in place that are supporting you in the background. I know you were talking about, Abby, getting the new technology and stuff so that you can do the show easier and with less stress. It's all about just the learning process of putting new systems in your life that will support you. And actually, that's what the book is all about, is just systems in the background running behind the scenes so that you can focus on what you love, which is why, if you're entrepreneurs, why you started your business anyhow, is to do what you felt passionate about and felt love around. It's not, unless you're weird like me, it's not about getting organized or creating systems. It's about having it all supporting you as you're moving forth and doing what you really love.
Yeah, absolutely. Feeling light, feeling great, feeling good. I feel like that's the key to intuition. When it feels good, it's right. If it's not, it's not. Don't do it. But if it's right, do it and let yourself feel really good, So we're going to hop over the call board really, really quick. I knew there was a reason I was guided to ask. I knew you had something. And by the way, really quick, the mastermind I sat in with her, like we visualized like guy and all these different things, like powerful to sit with her. So just so you know, she's a powerhouse.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited.
Okay, so we're going to just see if we can log on one more time in presentation mode. Okay, so we just have like a minute if somebody wants to call in. It's such late notice, but I just wanted to see, and it's possible that when I ended it, nobody could call in. So yeah, we're just gonna have to get this figured out. So again, you can go ahead and email either Kathi or I. So Abby@lifeforceconnection.com, or I think it's Kathi at Add Space to Your Life. Is that correct, Kathi?
It's Kathi@organizedandenergized.com.
Kathi at
Kathi.
organizedandenergized.com. Again, that's Kathi with an I at organizedandenergized.com. Because yeah, your voice is fading out. That's why I had to do that. So, all right, you guys, I think that is it for today. We are so happy you're here, and just such an amazing experience to be able to be together and have this show. And Kathi, I just want to thank you for showing up. What a gift and what a blessing you are. So keep doing your beautiful work, and I'm sure I will see you soon. All right. Namaste. Bye.